Greetings, Explorer families. This is Mr. Wright, the Executive Director of our Westlake Charter School families. I hope you've been tuning in to the virtual parent town hall meeting, watching our board meetings via YouTube. Hope you've been reading our communications that have been coming out through June. It's now the end of June. We're releasing as much information as we have right now about fall planning. Very honored and proud of the work that's been done by all of our teaching staff, our administrative staff, our office staff. We've all been planning for the fall. Families, we sent out a communication tonight. In it included our multi-leveled approach to scheduling. How does health and safety impact scheduling? I know there's just a million conversations happening around this topic, so I thought we'd kind of walk through why we adopted a multi-level approach and why we think flexibility is key to our success in the fall. So I'm going to walk through this model as quickly as possible for you. Level one is distance learning. We've been in distance learning since March 12th, but the distance learning that we're envisioning for this next school year has to include daily live interaction between students and staff and students and their peers. So if we utilize distance learning due to a statewide mandate for school closures or even a local mandate for school closure, we have a distance learning redesign model that we think is more robust. It'll include daily attendance, grading, assessment, moving students through the grade level standards. And so while we hope to not have to use this school-wide, it is an option that we are planning for. The next piece is orientation. Now, I'm not seeing a lot of other schools considering this model. We think it's really viable. Take a look at this. Our students left school on March 12th. They're going to return to school on August 12th. That's a 5-month gap where students haven't been back on campus. That's the longest gap that most of our students will have ever had in their educational career. And when they come back to school, there'll be new protocols, procedures, and processes for social distancing, health screening. Where do I go to recess? How do I eat lunch? All of these things need to be learned. And while we worry a lot about the physical safety of our students, we also consider the social, emotional, and mental health of our students and think if we return in like a smaller group setting for a little while, you have groups of 6 or 7 kids at a time in a classroom with a teacher learning the protocols, procedures, and processes for this new campus. I think that will lower that stress level and allow our kids the individualized attention they need to be successful. Now, the 180 days of school is a full school year. If in the very beginning we took a couple of moments to say, hey, let's reorient our students in small groups, we think that's a fantastic idea. Does it affect the schedule for a little bit? Yes, but we think if we work together, we can overcome the challenges, and it's worth it to make all of our students feel safe. The safety of our students and our staff and our entire community is at the heart of every decision. These are not easy decisions to make, but this is what we think is bringing students back to orientation modeling, very small groups, and then sliding into larger groups through our baseline, A-B scheduling that everybody's talking about, where you would go to school a couple of days a week on the A day and go to do distance learning, this new revised distance learning on the alternate days. And so if we start an orientation, some groups can move quickly to the baseline. You can imagine middle school learning the protocols, processes, and procedures for safety quite rapidly, whereas the kindergarten, first grade team might need a little more time in those small groups to really get the procedures down safely. And we feel great about the opportunity to be flexible across the levels. Now, baseline, while it's nobody's favorite idea to share time on campus, it is being guided by the health and regulations, from the Sacramento County Office of Education, Sacramento Public Health Department, the California Department of Education. All these departments are saying, hey, you need to figure out how to be 6 feet apart in the classroom. And if you watch the town hall meeting, we have maps and models, and we've moved desks around. How many students can you safely get inside of a classroom? So immediately we said, okay, if you can only get 20 desks maximum in a classroom safely, that explains why you would start on this baseline A-B modeling, taking turns, but we know what a burden this is on our families. Childcare alone is an incredible burden, so we're working with all of our teams to say, how can we support our community during this time? How can school and community collaborate during this baseline time before we get to the next level, which is increased capacity? So already our WAVE team has stepped up and said, what if we told everybody what cohort they're in? Oh, hey, I'm in classroom 1, cohort A. And these are the other people in classroom 1, cohort A. Might we create a parent collaborative where we're able to watch each other's kids? Hey, I'll watch them on Thursday. You watch kids on Tuesday. We'll share because we are in the same cohort. We already have our kids together in school. Maybe on these off days we can work together. We're also thinking, how can we use our base facilities and team to support this work? We're also looking around the campus and thinking, are there alternate locations that we can utilize to support the need for childcare during this portion of the scheduling? Again, it's all about health and safety and making sure that we start off slow and make sure the safety is first before we can move to something like increased capacity. You know, this idea that we can regroup our kids into smaller groups by increasing the number of classes we offer or increasing the number of spaces on campus so that students can be on campus every single day, this is where we want to get. I don't think we can get there on day one. We can't start with everybody on campus day one. We need to work through the levels so that we can inch our way forward in collaboration, and heaven forbid someone gets sick. If we have to slide back, then we're ready to slide back through the model as well. And so I'm not here to tell you that we're going to be able to start at full capacity. I'm also not here to tell you that we're going to stay in the baseline for a long duration either. That we're going to work together to move through these levels to ensure that our kids are, first of all, safe. And second of all, get increased time on campus and with their teachers and with their peers. And we put learning and social, emotional, and academic growth at the center of the work that we do once we've solved for health and safety. So I know that hearing some of this regarding baseline and orientation can really impact each of us when we think about childcare. Know that there's a ton of work being done in the background to try to figure out how we can collaborate and ensure that everybody has an equitable opportunity to stay safe inside this model and get what they need as we move forward. And so the fifth level of this model obviously is full capacity, and that is, hey, if a vaccine were to be produced in 12 to 18 months, maybe we can all be back on campus, business as usual. There's 1,000 decisions between here and there. We start with health and safety and then work collaboratively as a community. I think that we'll be able to get to the eventual full capacity and the increased capacity as time moves on. Families, reach out to us at admin@westlakecharter.com. Be a part of this work that we do. We will continue to communicate all throughout July so that we understand what does the schedule look like? What day will I be expected to be at school? What does attendance look like if I'm doing distance learning? How can I sign up for full-time distance learning if I want that option? All of that communication is coming to you tonight. I just wanted you to look at this model and understand why we're electing a flexible, multi-leveled model. All right. Thank you, families. Thank you for all that you do for our school and for our students, for our community. And as always, let's explore.